Angry guy here, and homeless women are rapidly passing away. Homeless women are rapidly passing away. Let's just go ahead and jump right into this article. So guys, I actually talked about this in another video. California sees massive surge in number of homeless women under Newsom and Biden. And basically, just to paraphrase, you can see a woman is homeless here, and the numbers are rising rapidly. More than a quarter of women, 28.7% of these women reported leaving permanent housing because of DV or interpersonal issues. In reality, they just returned to the streets. A lot of these women, I'll show you homeless women talking in their videos where they said that they had a place to live and they are homeless by choice because it's like the streets were just calling out to them. Nothing they do at this point is really going to change anything. We also see that there's a Colorado Coalition for Homeless is holding vigils. So many of these people are actually passing away rapidly. It's very sad, but that's the truth. Let's go ahead and listen to the video right now.
Colorado Coalition for the Homeless released its homeless death review. They found more than 300 people died on the streets in the Denver metro area just over the past year.
It's staggering. Fox 30's Gabrielle Franklin joining us now to explain some of the other numbers inside this report. Gabrielle.
Yeah, Jeremy, we all know that homelessness is a major issue across Colorado. Folks who work with the homeless community say this past year was one of the toughest that they can remember. Data from the Colorado Coalition for the Homeless shows 311 people experiencing homelessness died in the Denver metro area between November of 2022 and October of 2023.
Mario Watts.
Community members remembering the known and unknown deaths in a vigil Thursday night.
Victor Wells Jr. There was a growth of almost 20% from this year to last year. So that's a hard time and a really important time to recognize and remember those among us that we lost.
Christina Carlson is the CEO of Urban Peak. They help young people ages 15 to 24 who are experiencing homelessness. Sadly, some of the young people they helped are included in these numbers.
We go through and submit the names of those young people who have been in our programs who we lost, and we submitted more than we ever have as well. And we know we lost 14 young people this year. And I mean, that is 3 times as many as last year.
239 of the names listed came from the Office of the Medical Examiner in Denver. The data shows nearly 69% of those deaths were overdoses. While conversations around homelessness continue to happen around the city, Carlson says the report highlights how big of an issue homelessness and a lack of housing have become, saying it's going to take a community response to solve it.
We have to have all of our neighborhoods and all of our communities really engage in the solution, because I think people want to help and they're like, great, let's help people, but not here in my backyard. And I think as a community, we have to move beyond that.
And advocates note that this year was a significant one for policy proposals like putting overdose prevention centers in cities across the state, or raising the temperature threshold so that more cities can open their shelters sooner. However, we will have to wait until next year to see whether those policies advance and help the situation at all. For now, reporting live in Denver, Gabrielle Franklin, Fox 31.
So guys, I mean, it's never going to change. People don't seem to understand that when you're living off the government, when you're expecting the government to take care of you, the care you receive is always going to be subpar and substandard, because it comes down to having an interest in taking care of yourself and providing for yourself. I've mentioned this, that you'll see men when they're homeless, they may be homeless, but often they're not dirty, and they have more optimism when they're homeless versus, I mean, it's almost a career for guys. What a lot of these dudes, like, when you've been homeless for 10 years, bro, that's not a situation that you fall into. That's a choice. That's a career path. For like 10 years homeless, nah, bro, that's a career path. Women, on the other hand, when they end up homeless, it's like it's extreme destitution. Women cannot suffer. Men are built to suffer. We are built to survive. That's what, when you say suffer, it means survive. We are built for survival. We were not created by God to suffer, but we were created to endure, but we were created in God's image, and have the capacity to endure suffering in ways that women can never endure it. Women cannot endure suffering for a long period of time. They cannot do it, not without the help and aid of others. Men, on the other hand, we end up suffering in silence. And every guy that has experienced things knows what I'm talking about, because society does not care about men. To be very clear, they say women are born with their value while men have to create theirs. This is true, but a lot of that is also in Western society, because as men, we are actually born with value as well. When you go to other countries, you will find that these men in other countries are penniless. They often have very little money in their pockets, and yet the women in their countries desire them. The reason why we live in a society today where women don't value men anymore is because of social media, media in general, and the way that they perceive men. Men are born with intrinsic value. Think about it logically. By the very virtue of being a man, we are physically stronger. We are natural protectors. But just a woman simply being with a man brings her and elevates her. That's a provider. That's a protector. When you look at the street, I've been homeless 10 years ago, and I remember how it worked. These women would often go and find a guy to be in a relationship with. And, a lot of guys are going to get on me for saying this, but you'd often see like a white chick, and she'd go and find a black guy with dogs, and the black guy would protect her. And that was just a big observation I made. And some of y'all can comment if you agree, because I've seen some of you mention it before, that you saw that as well happening. It's kind of funny, because when a lot of white dudes become homeless, they literally just walk away. They don't have time for that. They really don't have time for that, But it's a sad and an unfortunate reality that we live in. But this is how it is. And women don't know what it means to suffer. They don't know what suffering is, because everything has been handed to them in Western society, and they've been bailed out of every bad decision that they've made for generations now. And now they're going to have to live with the consequences of their actions. They're going to have to live with the consequences of so many things that they've done. And they're entering a world where this will be the first time in history where women do not have men to fall back on. They can't fall back on men. There was a guy named Straight, and he was a YouTuber. Maybe he's still on YouTube. And he said years ago that these men, these simps out here, they don't have that kind of money to be some woman's come up. I talk about plan S guys, plan A guys, plan B guys, plan C guys, plan D guys, right? And plan D guys are desperation. So those are the guys that women get with when they're desperate. Like, these guys don't have a lot of money, but they could at least give a woman a roof over her head, pay her phone bill, put a little food in her, provide food for her. So basically the necessities of life, put a little bit of money in her pocket. She has no real interest in these guys. These are usually the guys that she's just taking advantage of. You'll often see like homeless women saying things like they're staying at some guy's place right now, because women aren't taking in homeless women, but they'll often find some guy that wants to have a relationship with them. So he gives them a roof over their head. He gives them a place to stay. And, he's like taking care of them, and they act like they don't realize that the guy wants to be in a relationship with them. And so they'll try to use that guy, take advantage of him until they can come back, until they can, get back on their feet a little bit, and then transition to a plan C guy or directly to the plan B guy. But if they can't get to the plan B guy, they'll get to the plan C guy. The plan C guy is the guy that's making, maybe $50,000, $60,000, or $70,000 a year, and they use that guy as what we call a come up. So they're planning to even a guy making $100,000 a year is a come up. Okay, a guy making $100,000 a year, even those guys are come ups, because they want guys who make above 100,000. They want guys that make a couple $100,000 or even $1 million a year. So that plan C guy is a guy that'll make anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000, and they'll use that guy as a come up. So that's the guy they're going to use to come back up, get back on their feet, get their money up. And once things are good, because they have no intention of staying with that guy, then they're going to transition over to that plan B guy. And that plan B guy is a Build-A-Bear workshop, because they're going to use that guy to build themselves back up, to build their life. The plan C guy is their come up guy. That guy is going to help them to get back on their feet. The plan B guy is the guy that all the women want, because that's the guy that she's going to build her life off. That's the guy that she's going to take take to court and get alimony off. That's the guy that's going to buy a house and she's going to take that house. That's the guy that she's going to have kids with. You know, those kids won't be her kids, his kids, of course. A lot of times they'll be Tyrone's kids or Chad's kids, but he'll think that they're his kids. But those are the kids that she's going to use the court system to extract wealth and resources from through in the means of child support, you know, in terms of marriage, alimony, whatever she can get out of him, she's going to get out of him that way. So those are the guys, those are the plan B guys. Those are the guys that are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. The plan A guys are your guys that are like the really high value guys that are worth like $100 million, $1 billion. That's those guys right there. And then the plan S guys, those are the guys that she actually loves, you know. Those are the guys that she actually loves, she actually wants to be with. Those are the Chads, those are the Tyrones. Doesn't matter if they're broke or poor, she'll take care of them. Those are the guys that she absolutely loves. But as you can see here, guys, homeless women are rapidly passing away. Does this surprise you at all? I want to know what you think regarding this. Let me know what you guys think regarding everything we discussed here today in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA. Men walking away. And cheers.